to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And we're going to be played back on many different channels. In fact, today's going to be a fantastic event. My name's Michael Firth, one of the founding Field Advisory Board members of a company called Numi. If you don't know what Numi is, you'll know all about that shortly. Just want to point out that we're live streaming primarily on the Everything Numi Worldwide Hub, which is our Facebook and YouTube channel right across the world for all teams. And of course, we love to know where people are joining us from. So I'm in Australia in the beautiful Sunshine Coast. I'm not going to be the interviewer today, by the way, but I'll introduce our interviewer shortly. But in the meantime, I'll put a timer on because it takes a few minutes for people to get the alerts and then join us online. So 30 seconds from now, we'll see you back here. Alrighty, welcome online, ladies and gentlemen. I always love that timer because sometimes it starts, sometimes it doesn't. It's technology. One day you're going to find me counting down from 30 to 0, just representing the technology. So if you've just joined us right now, do us a favor, please type in where you're watching us from around the world. We love to see where this technology gets us. As I said earlier, we are live streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. And primarily, we're actually focused on live streaming on the Everything Numi Worldwide channel, which is our hub across the world. Having said that, maybe you don't speak fluent English, and that's not a problem because we have all our leaders around the world that have recorded presentations in absolutely every single language possibly known to man, and they're all located on this very same hub. Having said that, we always give away a free bottle of product every time we do one of these events, and with that in mind, we draw them live. And so on the very last event that we did, we actually said to people to type in, "Pick me, please," in order to go into the draw. And so let me just bring the last one right up, and then we'll take one of the comments and we'll pick a random person. Okay. So we have a Monica, I can't pronounce it, Rzepkowski. I'm going to spell it. Rzepkowska, Monica. So you typed in on the last event, pick me please, and we always pick someone randomly around the world to ship a free bottle of product to. So we'll need to know your details. Now, the best place to send that will be go to the Everything Numi Worldwide Facebook page where you typed in the comment last time, send a private message, and we'll get a bottle of that product over to you as quick as we can. So today's event is fantastic because we always have different events. We have success interviews with Numi, we have doctors, naturopaths, all sorts of people, interviews with individuals that have a great results on the product. But today we're going to have a great event, which is with Dr. Roopa Chari, and we've had her as a guest on this channel quite a lot. And today she's going to be talking about glutathione for heart health being the missing link. Now, having said that, I will not be the interviewer. That will be Keith Chazon, Double Diamond, all the way from Louisiana in the USA. So take it away, Keith.
All right, all the way from South Louisiana. You know, Michael, I'm excited to be here once again tonight. This is our third time, our third interview. Gratefully, we were able to get Dr. Chari to carve a little bit out of her time to come and share with us. So for those of you who haven't been with us before when Dr. Chari was here and unfamiliar who she is, let me give you a little bit about her background. She's an integrative and functional medical doctor for over 25 years, owns the Chari Center of Health where she's working with her brother, among one of the first doctors in America to be named the best doctor by the Women's Choice Awards from 2023 to 2025. She's also been featured on local and national television shows, including the Learning Channel, specializes in in advanced natural solutions for women's health, weight loss, hormone balance, and age reversal. Some amazing things. So join me in welcoming my friend to the live, Dr. Roopa Chari. Dr. Chari, hey, welcome.
Thank you, Keith. It's great to be back with you again.
Absolutely, it's great to be back for sure. And you know, I kind of went over a little bit of an overview on a couple of the credentials that I'm aware of, but for the folks who haven't heard from you yet, and ones who may have just kind of lost track, can you give us a little bit more detailed about your background, what you've been doing, what you've been up to, and what's your passion?
Absolutely. So, as Keith mentioned, I'm a medical doctor. My name is Dr. Chari, and my specialty is in internal medicine. And my love and passion, Keith, has always been in natural healing, mind body medicine, and advanced natural solutions for our health and wellness. Because my parents are from India. So as we were growing up, our mother always gave us natural remedies, brought in healers from India and around the world who talked about natural ways of healing. And then my mother told me, if you go into medicine, you can be the bridge between allopathic medicine and natural healing and help people, prevent them from getting on medication in the first place, help them get off of their medication, or at the very least lower the dose, and get to the root causes of what is causing their medical condition in the first place. And I've done this for over 25 years at our family-run center, the Chari Center of Health.
Nice. And look, the root cause is so important, where a lot of the allopathic world misses that. It's more of a Band-Aid, right?
Exactly.
So I remember the first few times we were together, we talked about this miracle molecule, glutathione, and how it, is important in support for whole body or total body wellness. We also talked about specific nutrients that the Numi NutraSwish has, key nutrients that actually help support glutathione in the body, and that was L-cysteine, some vitamin C, and curcumin, and we covered those extensively. Today, we get to visit one of my favorite topics because, it's really one of the top leading causes of health issues, and that's issues with heart health. And so we got a series of questions I'd like to run through. The first one, of course, revisit this one. What is glutathione, and why is it important for our heart and our overall health?
Definitely. Well, Keith, glutathione is the mother of all antioxidants, And this is so important because I remember in medical school, in 4 years, this was in the late 80s, out of 4 years, we had 45 minutes of nutrition. So after I was done with my training, that's when I really learned about nutrition. But even nowadays, definitely with those who are practicing, in the allopathic route, but even with functional medicine practitioners, we're hearing more and more about glutathione. And the reason this is so important is because glutathione is essential. It doesn't matter what medical condition it may be or symptom, they're able to usually trace it back to low levels of glutathione, whether it's issues with our eyes, our heart, our brain, our kidneys, etc. It all roads kind of lead back to glutathione. And that's why glutathione has over 400 functions in our body. And at this point, there's been over 183,000 studies on glutathione. Almost, I think, it was double the amount of studies on vitamin C. And why is that? It's because it is so important for every function in our body. Our immune system protects our cells and our bodies from all the invaders, whether it's bacteria, viruses, fungus, parasites. It can be different agents in our environment, such as toxins. What protects our immune system? Our immune system protects us, but what is it that protects our immune system? It's glutathione. Glutathione also protects our DNA. It protects the battery packs of our cells that are called mitochondria that generate energy. It helps us detoxify. It helps give our cells the oxygen that it needs. And the list goes on and on and on. And that's what has been said is that, just suppose there was a planet and you even had water and oxygen, but if you didn't have glutathione, there would be no life. We need glutathione for every living form in our existence, and that it's absolutely so critical. And the reason it's so important for our health, the heart health specifically, as we're speaking about today, and I'm very passionate about heart health in particular because I lost my father when he was only 51 from a massive heart attack. And that's really what inspired my family to do what we're doing. So that's why this is a topic very dear to my heart. And I wish I knew what we knew back then, what we know now. So glutathione is made up of 3 key amino acids. It's glutamate, glycine, and cysteine. It's like the building blocks to make a protein. And it protects us from what's called oxidative stress and free radicals. And, we hear that term a lot, oxidative stress. It's like, but what is that really? You can think of it like internal rusting. And, like when there's iron and it's outside and then it starts rusting, that's because of the oxygen and water and how it reacts with the iron. It creates rust called iron oxide. Or let's say we put an apple on a table and it starts going brown. What is that? It's the combination of the enzyme in the apple and the oxygen. And did you know that if we actually squeeze some lemon juice or some citrus on the apple, it'll prevent it from browning? But that same process takes place in our body. And, it's very important to know that there's a very delicate balance between free radicals and antioxidants. And like Goldilocks, I always use that analogy of Goldilocks. It's ideal if it's in the right balance. But if you have too many free radicals and too much of that oxidative stress and too little of the important critical antioxidants, then we can get into problems such as chronic inflammation and then a whole host of other issues, because these free radicals, they damage our arteries, the lining inside of our arteries, and actually can damage our heart muscle itself, because our heart is basically one beautiful muscle. So it is so important. It's critical that we have enough glutathione for our heart health. It's absolutely imperative.
Super, super cool. Like, first time I heard the word free radicals, all of a sudden thought about people from the 1960s. They were pretty free and pretty radical, but this is more of something that's actually damaging the body internally, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So speaking about, heart health and what have you and free radical damage, how does glutathione affect the overall health of the heart and our blood vessels, the system that pumps blood throughout our entire body? How does it affect that?
Definitely. So we can think of glutathione like a superhero that comes down and gets rid of these free radicals and balances out that oxidative stress so that everything is in balance. Because here's what's very interesting, Keith, is that let's go back to like thousands of years ago, or even hundreds of years ago, like Fantasy Island, where the air, water, food, soil was all so pristine. Even then, they would do a detox every season. Now we need to literally do it every day because of everything that we're exposed to. So that's why glutathione now is more important than ever. And what all of this oxidative stress and this internal rusting and these free radicals, you can think of free radicals like someone who's been on like 10 cups of coffee. They're super wired. They've lost this electron and they're just trying to grab it from anybody, including all of our healthy cells. So glutathione, the mother of all antioxidants, comes in and says, here, I'm going to give you an electron. So that you won't bother these healthy cells and you go on about your business. Because what happens when we have too many free radicals, that leads to a lot of inflammation. They call it chronic inflammation. Chronic meaning like it's been there for a long time. So when that happens, our bodies are like in a state of fight or flight all the time. And then our immune system is worn down. And they call it the silent fire, chronic inflammation. And there's many causes for that we can address in so many different ways. Some causes are poor diet, especially all the processed foods, and sugar. Sugar is another big one. And I always tell people, if you're looking at a package and you can't even pronounce what's on the label, please don't eat it because that's going to probably cause some problems. But the other aspect, even in addition to what we're eating, is our emotions, our thoughts. Because when we're under stress and we haven't blown off that steam, that can lead to chronic inflammation, which is very interesting. And then toxins. We're exposed to thousands of chemical toxins in our air, water, food, soil, insecticides, pesticides, glyphosate, fungicides. There's heavy metal, there's radioactivity, there's electromagnetic frequency, there's different, bugs, both man-made and natural ones, and it's like an assault that we're getting. So it's miraculous, Keith, that we're all even doing as well as we're doing.
Right.
And so, right, truly a miracle. But we need glutathione more than ever now. And we can't afford to detox once a season. We need to do it on a daily basis. Because before, in the past, our bodies do make glutathione, but we're not making enough to deal with everything, all these toxins we're being bombarded with. So we need it from an outside source. So toxins are another reason that causes incredible chronic inflammation, and then lack of sleep. But also lack of sleep can be due to the diet we're eating, which is causing inflammation, our emotional stress, and then all these toxins that can affect our sleep. And then not moving enough, because most of us are in front of a computer most of the day. Infections, guts that are inflamed, and most of our guts are inflamed because everything that we're eating and drinking nowadays, and stress. And then hormone changes in blood sugar. I can't emphasize this enough. Blood sugar really impacts it. And then all of this inflammation then affects our arteries. And Keith, everyone talks about cholesterol, but when our arteries are so inflamed and our heart muscle is so inflamed, what happens is then cholesterol, the body says, hey, we need to put this soothing, waxy balm called cholesterol to decrease that inflammation. But in the medical field, they've actually made cholesterol look like the evil person, when actually it's saying is, hey, I'm just here to help and bring down this inflammation. So then when that cholesterol is there in our arteries, other, minerals and calcium can get stuck on that. And then over time, it kind of builds and builds and builds, and that leads to plaque. So it's not actually the cholesterol that's causing the problem. It's actually, we have to take it back 2 notches and say, what's causing this cholesterol buildup? It's actually coming from chronic inflammation, and that is key. And then the body releases all these inflammation chemicals to help to help with, it's trying to help, let's put it that way. And then you see, if you check your lab work, you can see different markers like CRP, other markers go up because they're trying to say, hey, our body's inflamed here. So it's chronic inflammation and high levels of free radicals that are really causing the chaos with our heart and our blood vessels.
Yeah, it sounds intense. And you said the GL word. I tell people all the time, it's not the gluten in the bread, it's the glyphosate that's causing the problem. So great. A lot of really great examples in that answer. So what's the biggest myth or misunderstanding people have about heart health and antioxidants like glutathione?
Keith, this is one of my favorite questions because this needs to be really clarified. The myth is that, it's cholesterol. And it's not. It's not, because again, this is so important. And I hope everybody writes this down who's either here live or watching the replay. It's inflammation, chronic, long-term inflammation. I should be clear. It's long-term inflammation and an overabundance of free radicals and that oxidative stress, which causes the insides to literally rust. That is the true cause of heart disease. And that's important because, as I was mentioning before, and, Keith, I know we both eat a lot of butter and ghee and, all of these foods that have been eaten for only, thousands of years.
Right.
Right? So it's the quality of the food, it's the quality of the fat that makes all the difference in the world, because cholesterol is a soothing, waxy balm that helps put out inflammation. So what happens is that that inflammation and all of these free radicals are damaging the lining of the arteries that are coming from the heart and going to the heart. Then what happens when that lining of the arteries are damaged? The body says, hey, we need to do some patchwork on this. So then it actually then needs cholesterol to go in as a kind of soothing balm to heal that up. And then, the body makes more chemicals to help with that as well. But those chemicals actually create more inflammation. And then as different minerals and different items are being passed through all of these arteries, they get stuck to this plaque, and then it builds and builds and builds and builds. And then also when we have low levels of glutathione, high levels of free radicals, our arteries become rigid and stiff and blood can't flow through. Then our arteries get more and more narrow, so our heart's not getting enough oxygen. That means our organs aren't getting enough oxygen. And then later on, that's where we see heart attacks and strokes. But if we have to tie it all back, Keith, it all goes back to that long-term inflammation, which they call chronic inflammation, and too many free radicals and oxidative stress. That's really the root cause of this. And there's one more myth, is that everyone thinks all antioxidants are the same. Oh, I take vitamin C, that's good enough. It's not. Glutathione is the mother of all antioxidants, the mother of all antioxidants. And as I said, our cells make it, but nowadays we're just not able to keep up with the demand because of everything we're exposed to. And so, but we need it for our heart, for our brain, to balance our immune system. And we need that when, again, like a superhero, glutathione comes in, it helps decrease that inflammation. It helps to neutralize all these free radicals that are trying to cause chaos. And then it protects our arteries. It heals the lining of our arteries, makes our arteries more flexible, increases oxygen to our heart and to every organ in our body. It takes care of everything, including getting rid of toxins that are affecting our heart health. So the real myth is knowing that we need to get to the root cause, which is inflammation and too many free radicals. And glutathione is the master hero, the mother of all antioxidants, to help us with that.
Superhero. You talked earlier, you mentioned there was over 400 functions, and you basically just covered a handful at best. So it's wild to think about just how important this antioxidant of glutathione really is to the human body. So This is great. This is some amazing. I hope everybody's taking notes, because this is some solid gold stuff. Are there, Dr. Chari, are there specific warning signs that someone's heart health might be declining due to low antioxidants like glutathione?
Definitely, Keith. There are. And, sometimes we brush off symptoms thinking they're more nuisance symptoms and nothing to pay attention to. But we need to remember that, just like in the fire alarm, when it goes off, it's trying to warn us there's smoke and there's something brewing that we need to take care of. In the same way, our body's trying to let us know, hey, not everything is going as it should. That maybe this is something we should look into. So when our antioxidant levels are low, especially with glutathione, and I'm talking today particularly about the heart, but just to let you know, again, pretty much every medical condition you can think of, the studies have shown it's all due to low levels of glutathione. And so, it's very important. And so some of the first signs can be that we feel really tired, like we're going up the stairs or going for a walk. And what used to be really easy is like, wait a minute, why am I feeling so short of breath or short-winded? What's going on? Something's not feeling right. Or you're just not having the pep, drive, motivation, and energy like you used to. And some other signs may be brain fog. Memory may not be up to what you would like it to be. The blood pressure may be up, or maybe having heart racing symptoms. It may be taking a lower time to recover from illnesses, or finding that maybe getting flus or coughs or colds more often, or just feeling run down and not being able to really pinpoint it. Well, it's important to know that may be because you're low in glutathione, and we want to nip everything in the bud. So I can almost guarantee that most of us are low in glutathione, again, because everything we're exposed to in the world today, in this day and age. And so it's your body sharing with you these symptoms, whether it's fatigue or shortness of breath or brain fog, or, all the other ones that I mentioned, saying, hey, we may need some extra support, and you may need some more antioxidants. And again, with the mother of all antioxidants, glutathione, it's only going to be supportive. And with that we can prevent and even reverse, as science has shown, different conditions related to heart health with glutathione.
I've read those and heard those same things. So that's, again, more gold nuggets, y'all. Make sure you're writing this down, because this is some of this stuff I believe can really help people manage through a potential crisis, which leads us to question number 5. Can supporting glutathione levels actually help prevent heart-related issues before they even start?
Definitely. And this is what is so exciting, Keith. I think what makes me so excited is to know that we can catch things early. We can prevent different issues by providing our cells, our body, with the nutrients it needs, especially with glutathione. So, because it's neutralizing those free radicals. So before those free radicals go around and cause all this damage to our arteries and to our heart and to our other organs, we can kind of squelch all of that happening from damaging our blood vessels in our heart muscle by taking glutathione. And the 2 biggest drivers of heart disease, again, is this oxidative stress, these too many free radicals, and this long-term inflammation. So the glutathione calms down the inflammation at the root cause and squelches and neutralizes those free radicals so they can't go around and create havoc in our body, so we can protect our arteries right at the onset, protect our heart muscle, and also remove toxins, because all these heavy metals that we're exposed to and all of the different infections that can really create havoc in our arteries by creating all this inflammation, the glutathione can protect our heart and our arteries from all of these toxins by clearing those toxins out of our cells. That's how powerful glutathione is.
So good. So good. All right. I tell you, I wish we would just start this interview. It's almost over. But what are some simple daily habits? And this is, if you didn't take any notes yet, these are the ones you want to pay attention to. What are some simple daily habits that actually help protect the heart and support glutathione levels at the same time?
Definitely. So I want everyone to know you don't have to completely change your lifestyle or completely overhaul it. These are some really simple tips that you can do on a regular basis. And number 1, it always starts with our food. Always, nutrition is key. So there are some foods that are glutathione boosting. I call that glutathione boosting. And they're rich in sulfur, which helps us with one of the building blocks, one of the amino acids that has sulfur, called cysteine, which we're not getting enough of because our soil is depleted, and our foods end up getting depleted as well. But here's something you can eat more of, which is broccoli, spinach, garlic, asparagus, onions, eggs, different nuts, lentils, fish, and chicken. And all of the cruciferous vegetables, they all have sulfur, which is like the cauliflower, cabbage. They're all rich in sulfur. So eat lots of veggies and onions and garlic, and prioritize sleep. And honestly, Keith, this is something I have to remind myself on a daily basis to do, is to make sleep a priority, because that's where we regenerate at night. And that also will help to increase your glutathione levels. If we're not getting enough sleep, our glutathione levels will kind of go down as well. So glutathione is made while you rest. And so that's very important. And then daily movement, any kind, walking daily is very important. I know how you walk every day, Keith. That sounds very inspiring. So, what's that?
I said I do. I do 2 times a day, actually. Yeah.
2 times a day. Wow. Okay. That's an inspiration for us all here. I'm going to bump mine up now. So, because it's so important, because that moves our lymph, gets our circulation going, and that'll increase your glutathione. And then some kind of stress relief. Each of us has our own preferences, whether it's, just relaxing breathing, meditation, journaling, but something. And staying hydrated. In other words, just drink more water. But salt is also very important, and that's another topic altogether. But hydration is very important. And then please limit the amount of sugar you all eat and processed foods. That is key, because these types of foods, the sugar and processed foods, cause a lot of inflammation in our gut. And when our blood sugar spikes also, then that causes havoc and more free radicals and inflammation. And we get into that whole cycle again. So just remember, small steps lead to big results. And then supplementing with a form of glutathione, but the right form of glutathione, which is critical.
Absolutely. Listening to this tonight, the only people that shouldn't pay attention to this podcast or this interview and this information are people who do not desire to live a long, healthy life. If you desire to live a long, healthy life, you should pay attention to everything Dr. Chari said tonight. What an amazing, amazing interview. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and sharing all these tips, these nuggets, this wisdom with this community. I appreciate it more than you could ever imagine.
Oh, thank you, Keith. It's always a pleasure to be here and speaking with you.
Nice. All right. Well, everyone, another great interview with Dr. Roopa Chari, who owns Chari Center of Health with her brother Deepak. Just a couple of amazing, amazing people that we are blessed to have them part of the Numi Nation. And for those who didn't get to hear the first two, the one where she went into a deep dive on glutathione, and then the supporting nutrients and cofactors in Numi's NutraSwish, they're in this same Facebook page. I encourage you to go look them up and go listen to them, and really pay attention to the nuggets that she shares in those interviews as well. And don't forget, in the comments, type pick me, where you dialing in from, and pick me, because next week, Michael's going to be giving away some more free product. I'm not sure what the topic's going to be next week, but I know it's going to be really, really good. It's either going to be another interview with a medical professional, or it could be an interview with on the business side of the house, best practice when it comes to building a business and partnering with Numi. Who knows? Michael's always got some really, really great content. Don't forget to subscribe to Everything Numi Worldwide YouTube channel or Facebook page and group. Again, thanks everyone for being here. Another fantastic interview with Dr. Roopa.